If you're wondering how much it costs to live in Murrieta, California, this video is going to be all about the cost of living in Murrieta. Here we go. Hi, my name is Jessica Genung, and I'm a local real estate agent right here in the Murrieta-Temecula Valley. In this video, we are going to talk about the main living expense categories, starting with housing, which is going to include buying and selling, and we're also going to be talking about other costs like groceries, gas, taxes, and health insurance. Let's start off with the elephant in the room, housing prices. This hugely important first category is what makes Murrieta so much more affordable than the neighboring Orange County, Los Angeles, and San Diego. In fact, this is exactly why my husband Chris and I moved to Murrieta 10 years ago from Orange County. As we can see here, the average home price in the US is a little over $231,000, and that is represented by 100 as a baseline on housing. This 100 baseline is used for the rest of the expense lines for the US average. Right here in Murrieta, the average home price is about $446,000 according to the website bestplaces.net. This highly useful website describes their own proprietary data engine that pulls the best information from publicly available data. This site provides great information and makes it easy to compare the cost of living in different cities throughout the US. You could plug in your city and give it a try. I'll link the site down below in the description. This average home price of $446,000 in Murrieta, it includes all types of housing, such as condos and townhomes and manufactured homes, all of these categories combined. Compare this to the average in California, which is $553,000, and you can see why Murrieta and Temecula are growing like weeds. Every month, I publish a Murrieta market snapshot video, and I dive into more detail on the Murrieta housing market. I'll link my latest video right up here and also down below in the description. This report that I put out monthly, it analyzes single-family detached homes only. In my last report for October of this year, 2019, the average was $477,000 for a single-family home here in Murrieta. By the way, according to Zillow, the median home price for neighboring Orange County is over $700,000. I also just recently saw a report that said that over 40% of listings in Orange County were priced at $1 million or more. When we talk about our neighbors to the north in Orange County, all the way up the coast to LA and beyond, the light yellow and orange in Murrieta and Temecula becomes much different, in a good way, from the darker oranges and reds all over the greater Los Angeles area, from San Clemente to Irvine to Anaheim to Orange. The same observations can be made when looking south towards San Diego. Murrieta is considerably less. Lots and lots of folks are moving here from Orange County and San Diego. So we just talked about owning a house, but what about renting in Murrieta? Rents have been continually increasing. Rent for a 3-bedroom home in Murrieta is going to run about $2,300. For a 4-bedroom home, it jumps up significantly, and the ballpark is going to be around $2,900 per month. We've covered housing, both buying and renting, so let's move on to utilities. The total cost of all of your utilities is going to be right around the US average. This includes water, electric, gas, sewer, and garbage service. The average cost of high-speed internet, we pay about $70 a month. Electricity in the summer can be an expense that jumps out. If your home has a pool, or you're the type of person that sets the thermostat to the low 70s all day in the summer, that can definitely add up to easily a couple $100s or more a month extra. We spend about $300 to $500 a month on utilities total. Typically, we have a big house, but we have no pool. The electricity of a pool pump will definitely bump up your electric bill quite a bit, especially during the summer, because you need to run your pool pump for more hours.
Chris wanted to show you a few power bills too.
Okay, so you're living in your house, you're paying utilities, now you need to get to work. Murrieta is a commuter town and California is notorious for high gas prices versus the national average. Today, we're in mid-November of 2019 and the price per gallon of gas around town is about $3.70. A big chunk of the fuel price in California is gas tax. More on taxes in a minute. There is not much transportation in Murrieta as far as public transportation goes, so you are likely going to be driving to get around unless you are lucky enough to work from home. We spend about $300 to $500 per month on gas. We do drive quite a bit though. Now you've got to eat, my specialty. The average meal for 2 people at a decent full-service restaurant in the Murrieta area is going to be right around $15 a plate. If you want a glass of wine or beer, then you are my people. Naturally, drinks are going to cost you a little bit extra, probably about $10 extra or even $15 to $20 more. So it's easy for your bill to get up and over $50 per meal before tip. We now have over 40 wineries in the neighboring city of Temecula and lots of breweries too. So again, it's about $15 for a main course, lunch or dinner. And again, the drinks are not exactly cheap out there, but the happening environment at the wineries, I think, is worth it. Now, if you're going to be making meals at home, our cost of groceries is basically almost exactly the same as the national average for the US.
Chris insisted we show you these actual receipts.
Let's move on to taxes. Murrieta sales tax is currently at 8.75%, which is pretty standard for most cities around the state of California. Like I said, the gas tax is a source of particular irritation for me because the state legislature and voters are constantly approving increases. The rate climbed by 12 cents per gallon in 2017 after the legislature passed a 10-year tax and fee increase to raise about $52 billion for transportation projects. Beginning July of this year, or in 2019, California gas tax increased from 41.7 cents per gallon to 47.3 cents per gallon, which is much higher than the national average. This chart from GasBuddy.com, it tells the basic story in a glance. Getting back to California's lovely taxes. The state income tax range is about 1% to 12.3%. California also assesses a 1% surcharge on taxable incomes of $1 million or more, which I believe goes to fund mental health services. As you can see here, most households, they are going to fall in this approximate 9% state income tax range. Property tax rates are actually fairly reasonable in California generally, including Murrieta, compared to other states that have very high property taxes. In Murrieta, property taxes are generally between 1.1% and 2% of the purchase price. So that's pretty low, but the difference between the low and the high property tax neighborhoods can make a difference of several $100s in your payment, so it is important to be very informed on this topic. I advise to make sure you work with a local agent in our area that is knowledgeable about the special assessments. You don't want to fall in love with a home and later find out that it has an additional $4,000 of special assessments tacked on to the base tax rate, and now you really can't qualify or afford the property anymore. My business practice is always to talk about the property taxes and the HOA fees, if any, right there at the same time with price so that my buyer clients can have a better sense of what their total monthly payment is going to be and be comfortable with their budget. The newer neighborhoods in this area, especially those built after 2003 and 2004, started having high special assessments tacked on to the base rate, which is already at about 1.1%. Some of these special assessments, they can be $2,000, $3,000, even as high as $4,000 or more per year. So it bears repeating that the special assessment is in addition to your base tax rate. I would recommend, when working with your agent, to get that property tax information even before you go look at the property so that you know upfront, do you even want to consider this property? Now, you might be wondering, What if the property value drops significantly? Well, you're still able to request the county assessor to reduce your base tax assessment down to the current market value, which many folks did indeed do during the Great Recession. In conclusion, living in California is expensive, mostly because of housing and taxes. But compared to the bigger cities around an hour away from Murrieta, this area is significantly more affordable and it's nice. Please, just a reminder to click the link below if you're interested in my relocation guide, which includes a ton of information about living and moving to the area. I know that we've covered a lot of ground here. Feel free to comment below with any questions you have. I respond to each comment personally and normally within 24 hours. And thanks so much for watching my video. Bye.